What up YouTube, it's Heretic here. Welcome back, and today we are looking at a Mew Yveltal variant. This is a variant that has become very popular at the ARG tournaments in both Oklahoma City and in Springfield, Massachusetts. And so we're going to go ahead and take a closer look at this deck. So obviously we've got a little dual thing with our Yveltals going on here. I think the real star right now in this format is the Fright Knight Yveltal from Breakthrough. Such a powerful effect with Fright Knight as long as it is your active Pokemon. Each Pokemon tool card in play has no effect, and this is especially powerful in a format that is full of Float Stones and Mega Evolutions. As Float Stone being the primary switching method right now, giving things free retreat, and then Mega Evolutions all over the place with Spirit Links, which you can shut down, force your opponent to have to end their turn, or if they run Garbodor, they have to get Garbodor set up and then Mega Evolve. Just a lot of things that need to happen. Great early game starter and a fantastic attack in Pitch Black Spear for a darkness and a double colorless, dealing 60 damage to your opponent's active Pokemon and another 60 damage to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon EX. So outstanding attack, outstanding ability, non-EX Pokemon, 130 HP. Just a lot of things going for this guy. So we play 2 copies of him, and then we play an Oblivion Wing Yveltal, just mainly for late game, for synergy with Darkrai, being able to recover Darkness Energy out of the discard pile, and also offering a 100 damage attack, a little bit of muscle there, to get around Safeguarders and such. So we have 2-1 Yveltal split. We also have 2 copies of Yveltal-EX, the big bad bird. And Yveltal-EX, of course, Evil Ball, doing 20 plus 20 more for each energy attached to both active Pokemon, while Y-Cyclone deals 90 and allows you to conserve an energy by moving it to one of your benched Pokemon. And so that's our Yveltals. We also have 2 Darkrais, another solid attacker, Dark Pulse for 2 colorless, dealing 20 damage plus an additional 20 more for every darkness energy you have in play. And you're pretty much never going to use Dark Head. It does 80 for 3, and then if they're asleep, it does 80 more. But they're going to have to find a way to put themselves to sleep if we're going to take advantage of that. So we've got all these things. We've got Umbreon-EX as our tech. Umbreon is really just there for endgame. Very appropriately named attack for 3 energy, allowing you to, if your opponent's Mega Evolution Pokemon would be knocked out by this 70 damage from this Pokemon's attack, then you draw 2 additional prize cards. So you would take 4 prize cards for 1 knockout. So if you go against a Mega Evolution deck and you take 2 prize cards early, you can simply use Endgame to very appropriately end the game by knocking out a Mega Evolution that has been softened up by Pitch Black Spear. And with this setup, it's actually a little easier to do than you might think. So we've got our big bulky attackers there. We have 2 copies of Mew as well, which allows us to hit for Psychic Weakness against stuff like Mega Mewtwo, and the Memories of Dawn ability, allowing it to copy the attacks of any of your basic Pokemon in play as long as it has the necessary energy, which in this deck would be any of our Pokemon. And Mew really capturing the ability to use Umbreon, Darkrai, and Yveltal-EX's attacks all in a single prize attacker despite only having 50 HP. Just being able to use a single prize attacker to do that, and then like, let's say with Dark Pulse, you use the double colorless to fulfill the cost on Mew, and then you can just throw all the dark energies on Darkrai, and then if Mew gets knocked out, then you go in with the Darkrai, and you're still hitting just as much damage. So really just ways to give longevity to your attacks and be able to hit and take a favorable prize exchange in the process. And then finally, 2 Shaman EX just for draw power, like always. So that's our Pokemon. Item cards, we got a couple 1-ofs. We got Escape Rope, a card I really like as a 1-of in Standard right now, and Super Rod. Since energy going back into the deck as well as our Pokemon is pretty vital in here, since we run the 4 Max Elixirs. So I favor Super Rod over Karen in this list for that reason. So 4 Max Elixirs, like I mentioned, can get you a Dark Pulse, Pitch Black Spear, Evil Ball, Y-Cyclone, etc. all on the first turn. Through the use of double colorless, Max Elixir, etc. And then we have 4 Trainer's Mail, 4 Ultra Ball, and 4 VS Seeker. Just normal stuff. Room for Trainer's Mail is definitely a luxury to have. Supporters, 4 Sycamore and 3 N for draw supporters. We have 2 Lysanders, a Hex Maniac, and a Ninja Boy. This is the techie one. This is really just helping you get something that you don't want in play, like a Shaman, off the board to bring something more useful out, and it's also great for the surprise Umbreon play to end a game against Mega Evolution decks when they don't see it coming. You know, as opposed to putting it on your bench and having to charge it up, you can just Ninja Boy and then boom. And it has the exact same energy requirement as Darkrai, at least with Dark Head, Yveltal with Pitch Black Spear, and Yveltal-EX with Y-Cyclone, so it's pretty simple to take advantage of that. Stadiums, we have 2 parallel cities. You can knock your own Shaymins off the bench if you can't Ninja Boy them out of play, or you could just lower your opponent's bench count. Take out, you know, cripple stuff like Rayquaza, Rainbow Road, so on and so forth. A lot of things, you know, just overly, really powerful stadium card. Pokemon tools, we play 2 Fighting Fury Belt. Just don't attach these to this guy because Fright Night. But otherwise, just really good in general. And then 2 Float Stones as well to help get free retreat on things that don't already have it, which Mew, of course, is the only one that does. So always good to have on hand. Finally, our energy, we have 4 double colorless, since just about all our attackers are double colorless compatible. And then we have 9 darkness energies to work with Max Elixir and get enough energy on board to make Darkrai's Dark Pulse attack do a pretty significant amount of damage as well. So that's the list, and we're going to go ahead and try it out in a couple of games. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into a game here. Looks like we're going against a fighting psychic kind of shenanigans. Probably a fighting deck, just running Hoopa and then Shaymin. So we're going to go ahead and go first. That sounds good. And, okay, so we're going to start with a Darkrai, which against a fighting deck, that's not too ideal. So let's see what we get. Could also Ninja Boy here, so we see some fighting energy, some Max Elixirs. Okay. Could be like a Primal Groudon, maybe. Alright, so we'll take our extra card here. And so he flips over a Shaymin, okay. So we get an Yveltal-EX. Go ahead and play Trainer's Mail. And maybe... I'm trying to see here. I guess it's not the worst option to have. Go ahead and play another one. And okay, so Ultra Ball. That's what we want to see. Okay, so we will Ultra Ball and have these in discard for later. And let's see, Shaymin I don't really think is necessary. I think we grab the Mew here. Okay, we do have the Fright Night Yveltal available to us. So I think we Ninja Boy out the Darkrai here, and we bring out the Fright Night Yveltal in its place. Go ahead and attach an energy, and we'll pass the turn. That's a pretty good start. We got the Professor Sycamore ready to go for next turn. We do see an Ultra Ball here. He discards a Hex Maniac and a Parallel City. We'll see what he decides to dig out here. It is the Hoopa EX. Okay. So the Ringmaster is going to come down, and we'll see if he goes the Regirock route here, or if this is indeed a Primal Groudon. Oh, and it's Mewtwo. We saw fighting energies in here, though. They're looking at Mega Mewtwo Style X. Okay. Interesting. So all 3 Mewtwo's, all different artworks, too. That's pretty cool. Hope the 4th one's a, assuming there is a 4th one, I hope it's a tin promo. So we just see a Spirit Link go onto one of the Mewtwo's. And he's going to parallel himself, so he's going to discard his Hoopa. And we see a Sycamore discarding a Versus Seeker. Fresh hand of 7. And what are we going to get here? Okay, so he attaches a fighting energy onto the Mewtwo and passes his turn. So, he's got 6 in hand. Nah, it's not, it's whatever. Throw it all away. Let's have a fresh hand. Okay, so we get our double colorless. That's the important part here. So we can go ahead and actually we can put the Darkrai down, I think. And we're going to go ahead and Pitch Black Spear. We'll hit the one with the energy. So we get a nice 60-60 spread going on there. Get a knockout next turn on that Shaymin, unless he Sky returns it. But based on what he's playing, unless he's running both Mega Mewtwo's, I don't think we're going to see double colorless. We see a Psychic Energy go on to this Mewtwo, and he does Lysander up the Darkrai. We do have a Float Stone in hand, so we can use that to our advantage. Go ahead and retreat. And we'll attach, let's see, you know what, let's do the second Fright Knight actually. Let's go ahead and do that, and we'll Lysander up one of the Mewtwo's that has nothing on it. And then we can Pitch Black Spear, and we'll just knock out the Shaman here. And see if we can't get an Umbreon play in the works for down the line. So we go ahead, we take 2, we get a Darkness Energy and an N. So we do see another Psychic Energy go on to the benched Mewtwo. We get a Lysander here, so we can go ahead and we'll attach this one to Yveltal-EX. And don't really want to play Lysander or N here, I don't think. I think in this instance we're just going to Pitch Black Spear again. We're going to hit the one on the bench. So we basically set this up to a point where we could just win the game on our next turn. If he doesn't drop a Mega Evolution. We do see another energy go onto that Mewtwo. And the fourth one is indeed a different art, because it is the blue Mewtwo. We see a Super Rod, which will get back Shaman and Hoopa back into the deck. And a Sycamore. So he discards a Psychic and a Fighting. And let's see. You see a Trainer's Mail. So he grabs a Float Stone, so he'll be able to float. Well, no, actually he won't because of Fright Knight. Fright Knight's just gonna sit there and go, yo, what up? And so he does Mega Evolve. We see Mega Mewtwo X come into play. Okay. So it's got 110 HP that's still sitting on, because that one's got 20 more HP than the Mega Mewtwo that we're used to seeing, and he's just the broken heart emoji. Oh, rip. Okay, so what we can do here actually is just Lysander another one of these Mewtwo's out and start Pitch Black Spearing, and we're just going to knock this one out. And that'll get us down to 2 prizes, so then we can just kind of chip away at that benched one now for the end. Or try to go for a bigger attack maybe with Darkrai or Yveltal if we can get enough energy. We'd have to hit some max elixirs for that to happen. So he plays an Elixir, fails it, attaches a Psychic Energy to his bench Mewtwo. We see a Spirit Link, he plays down the Shrine of Memories, and plays an N, so he's going to drop us all the way down to 2 cards. But we've got our attackers going. We do draw, well, not much. Pretty much garbage here. He does get another Max Elixir off that Trainer's Mail. So he'll be able to play that. Try to get another energy. Misses it again. And I don't think we've hit a Max Elixir yet either. No, we haven't. So he plays another Max Elixir. And looks like he's... Nope. Oh my goodness. Crazy stuff. Okay, we'll see. He doesn't Mega Evolve again either. So we do draw a Versus Seeker, which is big. So I don't even think we need this Yveltal on the board. We just VS Seeker here for a Sycamore. Okay. Yeah, we're just going to play that Sycamore. So we'll draw a fresh hand. Not too shabby. We can put a Fighting Fury Belt over on the Yveltal. And we've also got the Mew here, which we can do, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 80. Yeah, that would be enough to win the game right there. So we can just retreat our Yveltal here and bring the Mew up, and we can just copy Dark Pulse here for the knockout, and that will be the game. So we're able to take advantage of Mew there at the end, and we take game 1 pretty handily. So Mega Mewtwo deck, no Garbodor. Looks like he was focusing more on Mega Mewtwo X, which just invites Mew in to finish that game off. No need for Umbreon there. So a combination of Fright Knight, Yveltal, and Mew is enough to take us for our first W, and so we're going to go ahead and get into another game. Okay, so we're looking at Fighting in Water. Guessing that's Garchomp Octillery, which could present a bit of a problem here. It's definitely not a matchup we want to be staring at, and we're going to lose the coin flip on top of it. So we'll see. Stranger things have happened. We open with an Oblivion Wing Yveltal here, which is probably our best weapon against Garchomp. So we'll go ahead and place out our prize cards, and okay, so we see a Carbink instead. That's interesting to say the least. We do see Remoraid. Also, which one does he run? An Ion Pool. Okay. Yeah, we see Ultra Ball. He discards a Trainer's Mail and a Hex. And let's see what he goes for here. Okay, so there is Gibble. So we are going to be looking at Garchomp here. Just running the Carbinks with it. So Gibble goes to the bench. Sycamore discards N and another Ultra Ball. So he gets a fresh hand of 7. Another Gibble comes down onto the bench. And let's see. Okay, so he's just going to pass his turn here. So we're going to play our Trainer's Mail. And let's see, we already have Sycamore, so I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to fail that. And I think we're actually just going to end up playing an N here, to be honest. I'm going to go ahead and put the Float Stone on that one. And we'll shuffle back in. Don't really want to discard that double colorless right now. Okay, so we do get a Ultra Ball. We don't get an energy to accelerate with it, but at least we can throw a couple supporters. We have Versus Seeker, and we can go ahead and just grab Mew from the deck and go ahead and throw him onto the bench. And we'll do a 30 damage Oblivion Wing here. And no energy, rip. So, try to make the most of our Mews in this matchup. Not really going to be able to do much with the Pokemon EX. And he puts a Bursting Balloon down, okay. So taking a page out of, if you remember the Garchomp Octillery list I uploaded a couple weeks ago, very similar with the Bursting Balloons, just didn't run the Carbinks in my list. So anyway, we'll go Fighting Fury Belt, we'll go double colorless, and we're going to give him a couple of cards here because we need another new hand. And we don't have enough cards to Ultra Ball for a Shaman. So we'll take that, and okay, so we actually draw into a couple of Max Elixirs here, which is pretty nice. Go ahead and launch one of those. Got an energy, so we can get a decent amount of energy on our Mew here. Take a couple cards off of Shaman. That's not helping. Alright, I guess we could parallel his end down. Force him to discard probably that Carbink. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, and then we'll do another setup here. And the reason I didn't hold on to that and parallel myself is because we didn't really have enough viable targets for this. So we draw Darkrai, which is definitely not something that we want to be attacking with, but we could bench it and try to use Mew as its energy form. So we're going to go ahead and do another Elixir, which of course we're going to miss. So let's see, let's Ultra Ball these two away. Go find another Mew for later. And we'll Oblivion Wing here again. So we'll take 60 from the Bursting Balloon, but we're going to get another energy down. And we'll see if he decides to retreat this turn, if he gets Rare Candy into Garchomp. So we see Level Ball, so he's either Octillery or Gabite, so we do see him go for Octillery here. So that comes into play, and we'll see if he's got like an Ultra Ball. We see a Strong Energy go on to Carbink, maybe a Carbink Break here. Doesn't have any energy in his discard though. Another Bursting Balloon on the Carbink, so he's trying to stall us out a bit with that. You see a Super Rod here, so he's going to shuffle. Okay, so the Carbink, he discarded when we paralleled him. And there's a Sycamore. Okay, so Verseeker and Garchomp go to the discard pile. And let's see here. He does evolve into Carbink Break. Okay. Still no energy in his discard pile as of yet. Fails a Trainer's Mail. If he can play any more cards from his hand, he'll be able to Abyssal Hand and redraw. So instead we just see a Diamond Gift here. 20 damage, Strong Energy and Resistance canceling out with one another. We do draw another Max Elixir. So we can play that, grab another energy, throw it on the Mew, and then we can Professor Sycamore here. Okay, so we draw pretty well off that. Go ahead and get another Darkness Energy into play. And let's see. I think I'm okay. Just no, that would knock us out. Never mind. That's not what we want. I'm gonna go ahead and just let that Bursting Balloon pass, I think. maybe we can hit Lysander with that Versus Seeker next turn and try to take something out. So we see another Bursting Balloon. My goodness. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 darkness energies on the board. Alright, so he discards 2 Gibbles this time with Ultra Ball. So he's got to be going for either Gabite or Garchomp and Rare Candy here. So he does pull Garchomp from the deck, so we expect to see a Rare Candy right here. And we can actually knock that Garchomp out if he's able to get it into play. So we see he searches the Garchomp and then plays the Abyssal Hand. So he does bring Garchomp into play. Now he could retreat and attack with it right now if he wanted to, be able to re-accelerate that strong energy. Okay, so we do see him retreat, and he's only doing... Okay, there's a strong energy. Okay, so I was going to say he was only doing 60 there, which would have been 40, wouldn't have been enough, but he's able to do enough damage with the addition of the strong energy, accelerates the other one back to the Carbink, and claims a prize card. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We can actually KO him with an Evil Ball here. We can maintain some darkness energy, or we could just Dark Pulse for 1, 2, 3, 4, be 5. Same thing here. Able to get enough damage on the board here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, okay. So we could Dark Pulse or we could Evil Ball here. Same effect here. Either way, that Fighting Fury Belt is going to give us enough damage to knock him out. So we will claim a prize card off of Garchomp. And we didn't even have to Lysander, so we're just able to sit on what we have in hand. And that double colorless energy that's in our hand will come into play here with Yveltal's usage. Meanwhile, he does bring up Carbink. We see a Floatstone go on to Octillery, and now we see a Super Rod, so we're going to see 2 Gibbles and a Garchomp go right back into the deck. And he'll be able to Abyssal Hand for 4 cards here. Okay, so we see another Bursting Balloon, this time on the Carbink break. And so we're probably going to want to Lysander around that. We do see an energy on the other Carbink on the bench, so we're going to take a 40 damage attack here, it looks like. He does go ahead and go for the N here, so we have to hope we draw into VS Seeker again, or another hard copy of Lysander. Which, oh, not yet. We're going to have to go with the Trainer's Mail Dig here. We see Rare Candy, so another Garchomp comes into play, so if we can just manage to hit Lysander in some form off that Trainer's Mail, or maybe our top deck for the turn, we'd be in pretty darn good shape, as he's able to accelerate 2 energies onto that Garchomp now. So we can Ultra Ball here, discard Fright Knight and a Sycamore, and what do we want here? We'll go ahead and grab another Yveltal-EX, I think. And then we can play Trainer's Mail, and we do hit a Lysander directly off of that, so we can just bring this up, go ahead and Lysander up the Garchomp, get around the Floatstone, or I'm sorry, the Bursting Balloon, and we'll have another Dark Pulse for a knockout here. So we get another prize, we get another Garchomp off the board, more importantly, and he does not have a Gibble for next turn, so we don't have to worry about another one coming out just yet. So pretty solid round there. So we're able to take a couple of Garchomps off the board. We do see another Gibble come down. He gives it an energy. And we'll see Abyssal Hand here. Okay, so there is Trainer's Mail. And he grabs Delinquent. Thankfully, we have 4 cards in our hand, so Delinquent would not screw us up. There were a couple of moments earlier in this game where it would have just absolutely destroyed us. This, fortunately, is not one of those moments. So he's going to Verse Seeker now for Hex Maniac, which would put our Mews out of commission. At least for a turn. So instead he opts to play the Delinquent, though. He discards the Parallel City, so we can discard Yveltal, Floatstone, and the Darkness Energy, maintain our Professor Sycamore. Okay, so 2 Darkness in the discard, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in play. Diamond Gift comes up 10 short of a knockout thanks to Fighting Fury Belt. And he gets a second Gible on the board as well. So that's the one that's going to get the 2 energies. And we're going to be in Sycamore territory here. So that Fright Knight's not going to do much for us, so we'll just play the Professor Sycamore. And we can make some stuff happen with this hand. Go ahead and Max Elixir, nothing doing there. We can play this Trainer's Mail. Grab the Versus Seeker for next turn. Seems pretty good. And we can pretty much do whatever with these double colorless. I think in this case we just go ahead and attach to the Yveltal-EX. And we've got Mew, which can do any number of attacks to knock this thing out. And, you know, we're going to kind of get creative here. We're going to use Dark Head. So it'll still be enough to KO it. Because how often do you get to use Dark Head? Okay, so he's just going to bring up the other Carbink, of course, you know. Keep the Safeguard deal kind of rolling around. And we do have that Versus Seeker, of course, in hand, waiting to Lysander one of those Gibbles, which is pretty darn reliable at the moment. So, with a double colorless, we should be okay. He's going to Verse Seeker for the end, though, to try to counteract that. So that sucks. Let's send our hand back, and we're only going to get 3 cards in return. Okay, well, we do get the Sycamore, at least, so we can draw some more stuff. He evolves into Carbink Break. And we see Abyssal Hand for 1 card. See a Trainer's Mail. Let's see what he grabs here. A Rare Candy, maybe. Nope, he grabs a Lysander. Okay, and that could be trouble because that Darkrai is just sitting there on our bench, and it's in a scary situation. So we see Diamond Gift here, knocks us out, and he can accelerate energy pretty much anywhere here if he's got some to work with. We do see a Strong Energy go on to the Gibble that already has one. So we're going to bring up the other Mew. And we only need 1 EX knockout here now. That's a big thing. We do also draw into a Verse Seeker. We've got Lysander, we've got Hex, we've got N, we've got Ninja Boy, which could be an option. Not really sure what we would Ninja Boy into, though. I think, let me see. I think in this scenario we just throw this stuff away. We Ultra Ball. What do we even... Okay, all we have is another Darkrai. I'm just going to leave it there, give us an extra turn after I inevitably Sycamore here. So, we'll do that. We'll draw a fresh hand. And let's see here. Okay, so not much on the energy front here. We can definitely Super Rod some of our Darkness energy back into the deck. Put a couple of those back, and we'll also put the Mew back in the deck. So, some useful stuff there. And we have another double colorless that we can just kind of sit on here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 Darkness in play. So we'd be doing 100 damage if we swung with Dark Pulse, which is not quite enough. So I think in this situation, oh man, what do we do here? If we had a different active Pokemon, we have a pretty good thing going on here. And he says, well played. Okay, so I think in this scenario, I mean, we could try to rope out of it into an attacker that we can take out. So I think we retreat here, bring out the Darkrai, and then we can play the escape rope to drag something else up. Since we don't quite have a knockout on that Carbink. We do have 2 Versus Seekers handy, however, so we've got plenty of options. And so I think we just bring the Mew back up. And in that situation, let's see. What can we do here? Fighting Fury Belt. Looks like we're doing enough damage here. Okay. So I think we just go ahead and Dark Pulse here. Go ahead and claim a knockout on his Octillery, which also opens this up to potential late game end possibilities now. And we can load that Yveltal with enough energy to take out a Garchomp here. So we see another energy go on to Carbink, which will allow him to use Power Gem and knock out our Mew, which will basically make Darkrai's attack moot at this point. And he plays an N himself. So we're going to have to shuffle those VS Seekers back in. We do redraw one of them, however. 11 cards again in the deck. It'll be 10 after we draw for our turn, so we can still Sycamore. We do get Power Gemmed into Oblivion here. So it looks like, well, we don't really have much in terms of attackers now. We got to start trying to pick for some other stuff here. We do draw another Darkrai, which isn't really too friendly to what we're trying to do right now. I think in this instance, let's see. We'll just go here. And we could also try to Ninja Boy into a Mew, which wouldn't be the worst decision, but it wouldn't exactly be the best, now that I'm looking at it again. Okay, so I think we go for the Lysander here. We can try to knock down, let's choose the one that has all the strong energies, because that's the one we really don't want to be staring at. And we could Y-Cyclone, I guess, or we could just Evil Ball. I think we'll Y-Cyclone here, actually. So we could at least get a Dark Head attack set up if we get knocked out. So we get another prize card, another Darkness Energy, certainly not a problem. So he brings up Carbink once again. And of course we have that lovely resistance to fighting. So we see an Ultra Ball here, he discards Ranger and Hex. And fails the search. Have not seen a Gabite all game. Definitely an interesting situation. Got 2 rare candies only in his discard pile. He does Lysander up a Shaman here. We do have an energy we could use to retreat it, but we need to be able to land some kind of an attack. And we see Diamond Gift here, and that's going to bring 2 strong energies onto that Gibble on the bench. So we draw Parallel City, which isn't exactly what we wanted. So I think we just hold on to this hand. This thing's got 2 retreat. Yeah, we don't want to have that get Lysandered up. So we just go ahead and pass. He's not doing a lot of damage. And as long as we can keep our Yveltal around, which of course now, great, now we're going to see the Garchomp come out. Hopefully he doesn't have another Lysander here. Instead we see another Power Gem, 40 damage this time. Alright, so we just draw another energy. Go ahead and try to buff up the Darkrai, I think. And go ahead and just put another Parallel down in play. Just in case he gets rid of a card that we don't want to draw. And I think he knows if he brings that Garchomp up, he's got to be able to knock out the Yveltal-EX in the process. And so that's going to be the game right there, what we just drew. We can bring Yveltal up, and then we can VS Seeker here for the Lysander. Lysander up, Garchomp, and Evil Ball will finish the job. 160 damage. So that finishes it up, and there we see our other Fighting Fury belt. So we're able to go to 2-0 there, and a pretty good game. I mean, Garchomp, not one of those decks that people, I think, look at and be like, oh my god, this is top tier, but definitely gives this deck a run for its money. Garchomp generally has a very favorable Dark matchup, and if it can get Bite Off going against Yveltal-EX, it can absolutely run the table. So Mews definitely were very helpful in both getting around Safeguard and making 1 prize trades possible in this match. So that is Mew, Yveltal, Darkrai, and I'm Heretic, and I hope to see you guys again soon. Cheers!